Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show, your one-stop shop for everything rugby league. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the Newcastle Knights. Yes, the team that was one of everyone's favourites of 2024. They went flying from nowhere. Kalyn Ponga was out cold early in the season, keep getting knocked out. Went over to America, comes back. He decides to pull out of playing for Origin, and what a masterstroke it was. And they went flying to week 2 of the finals, but unfortunately came unstuck against a Warriors team on the rise as well in 2023 and looking into 2024. Well, folks, we're here. Newcastle Knights. What are their chances in 2024? Well, I can see one of the biggest implosions I've ever seen in a team from rocketing up the table to going back to square one in 2024. I have grave concerns for you Newcastle Knights fans that this team is going to go backwards. They've lost some flair. They've lost some a Michael Luck type player. That old school just does everything. Lachlan Fitzgibbon. They've lost their flair of Dominic Young. It could be a long season for the Newcastle Knights. They can easily make the top 8. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. With Kalyn Ponga on the team, they can make the top 8. But potentially on the squad they have, they overachieved in 2023. And I think 2024, the Newcastle Knights might be struggling. But let's have a look at this team. They are developing players for the future with a few of the players from UK coming over. But I don't think it's going to come to fruition. So yes, obviously Lachlan Fitzgibbon and Dominic Young are gone. They've brought in Paul Pierce. They've signed Jack Cogger, Riley Jones, Jed Cartwright, a few, and Will Price. But yeah, whether this is going to lead to improvement in 2024, I'm not convinced. But let's have a look. I could be completely wrong, folks. Don't give up if you're Newcastle Knights fans. And they could come in the top 4, no problem at all. I might have a bias. Nah. It's just the way I'm looking at it. Let's have a look. Okay, got Kalyn Ponga, fullback, folks. Yep. But wings, Tom Jenkins, possibly with Greg Marju. That's the way I'd go. With Bradman, Best, and Dan Gagai. It's Dan Gagai over the hill. Seems to struggle at club level, and now he's not getting the Queensland level. Maybe he's going to derail. 6 and 7, controversy who you go here, but I'm dropping Tyson Gamble and I'm putting Jack Cogger in. He was outstanding in the grand final for the Penrith Panthers. You could argue he could be the number 7 in front of Jackson Hastings, and that may happen and Tyson Gamble comes in. It's going to be interesting how that one plays out, but I think Jack Cogger's got to start. He's not a bench player for mine. He was on the bench because of the injuries to Jerome Luai, but I think, and he pushed into that, but yeah, to me, he's a starting player. The forward pack, well, the Safidi brothers are likely to start proper rotations, no guarantee, but Jaden Brayley, I've got him at number 9, but I could have had Phoenix Crossan. I actually think Phoenix Crossan is a better player now. I really do on what he did, but I'm putting Phoenix Crossan in 13 for the team. So Phoenix Crossan goes to 13 with Tyson Frizzell and Adam Elliott for me are the two to play in the second row. Leaving the bench of Tyson Gamble, Jack Henrington, I would give Kyle Pierce-Paul a chance. And last but not least, Leo Thompson. Yes, Leo Thompson to get in the bench. Will Price, I think, is a protege into the future. He's definitely a horse player to look over. Jed Cartwright could easily be in the team. Same with Matt Croker. And Anani could also be in the team as well on the wing, but I've left them out. Tuala, I've left them out. So yeah, to me, they've got some signings. They've lost some. They haven't really. Jack Cogger's a good signing. I'm going to say that he's a good signing. If Jack Cogger, let's put it this way, if Jack Cogger plays like he did in the grand final, they make top 4. If him and Kalyn Ponga play the way he did last year, they'll make top 4. But I've got serious concerns There might be a little bit of infighting, a little bit of argy-budgy. I think out wide they're going to get exposed defensively. Dan Gangai's getting a little bit older. Kalyn Ponga was at a flash in the pan. We've seen it before with players like Ben Barber having one great season, Jared Hayne having one great season, then they just fade off to the sunset. Let's hope that's not the case with Kalyn Ponga. He had the first time he's been consistent for the Knights. So if he continues that trajectory next season, Kalyn Ponga, yes, they can do something. Their forward pack is pretty good. Number 9's a bit of a question mark. Fenner Crossan played well. Jaden Bradley coming back, but he's injury prone. Their forward rotation is not too bad. So it's not a bad team, but it really fades away. Why I think they're going to struggle is they've got no depth at all. They really haven't. I think they've got a lot of money in Kalyn Ponga, and it's made it hard for them to sign any other real decent talent. Jack Cogger can be a great signing and will keep them possibly there, but I just, for a squad overall, I've got grave concerns. It's probably one of the weakest squads in the comp, but that's why I'm saying it was overrated. They well overachieved last season. Yes, this is probably one team I'm going to absolutely get completely wrong, but I can see them finishing near the bottom of the ladder. I'm putting it right out here right now. Newcastle Knights, they could be one of the big falls of grace from last season. I can see them dropping that low, and I can see them going quite high as well. But yeah, I don't think they'll make the top 8. Let's put it that way. That's the way I'm going to say it. I don't think they'll make the top 8. But if Kalyn Ponga plays like he did all season, doesn't play Origin, then well, I'll be eating humble pie, and I'll be happy to eat humble pie. But I'm just looking at the squad they've got, what their bench looks like, their rotations, who they got to bring in. It's just not there. And O'Brien probably, yes, he saved his obviously saved himself, but again he could be on the chopping block pretty quickly again. We will see. But yes, I've got big fears, especially if Kalyn Ponga does get injured. It could be a long road ahead for the Knights. But it's gonna. But yeah, the positives for me is Jack Cogger. Obviously Kalyn Ponga if he plays his best. Bradman best if he continues to go up the level. Phoenix Crossan if he continues to play well. Tyson Frizzell, is he getting over the hill? Can he continue to keep himself at a steady level? Adam Elliott fully fit. Can he bounce back to his best? The Safidi brothers potentially can be some of the top dogs in this competition. That's all to be played out. But that's Newcastle Knights season preview. I think they're going to miss the top 8. You can have your say in the comments and say I'm crazy. Well, there's going to be someone crazy miss the top 8 this season and really drop away. I think Newcastle Knights is their team from the top 8 this season. But for your Newcastle Knights fans out there, don't hate me. I'm just looking at their squad purely. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at squads, nothing to do with who's my favourite team, all that sort of jazz. The Newcastle Knights, on paper, don't have that stronger team, but they have one of the best fullbacks in the game, no doubt about that. But from there on in, it's thin out. They got decent players, but outside of Kalyn Ponga, he's the only top-class player. They need Jack Cogger to go to top class, or Jackson Hastings to go to their top class, if they want to be premiership contenders. That's basically what I say. Their forward pack is good enough to get them into the top 8, but to go any higher, they're going to need some big things from their spine. But that is this episode, and I will be back with the New Zealand Warriors next. Have an awesome day out there.